over here!
Welcome to the Know. I'm Turney.
I'm Jenkins.
Microsoft's got a fever, and the only prescription is more Windows 10.
There's better ways to take care of a fever than Windows 10.
Yeah.
We've known for a while now that Microsoft plans on unifying all of its devices under Windows 10, its universal operating system made from unicorn blood and phoenix feathers. But they might be planning to take things one step further than we thought.
According to Xbox head Phil Spencer, this probably means the end of Xbox, or at least the Xbox as we currently know it.
Saying it so.
Yeah. Speaking at the Xbox Spring Showcase, Spencer said that Microsoft would like their future consoles to be upgradable rather than replaceable each new generation.
That's called a PC.
Yeah.
In his talk, Spencer argued that consoles should be much more like PCs because other ecosystems like PC or mobile undergo continuous innovation while consoles fall woefully behind over the 5 to 7 year lifespan. Guess Phil's also been having problems with that Fallout 4 frame rate.
But Phil wasn't just talking hypotheticals here. He eventually doubled down on the idea, saying, quote, "You'll actually see us come out with new hardware capability during a generation, allowing the same games to run backward and forward compatible because we have a universal Windows application running on top of the universal Windows platform." He goes on to say we can effectively feel a little bit more like we see on PC.
Universal Windows.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound very hypothetical at all.
No.
It could mean that in the very near future, Microsoft unveils an upgradable Xbox One or an entirely new Xbox platform that marks the first of an iterative line of Xbox products. This would allow Microsoft's consoles to track along with other technology spaces where upgrades come fast and often, and is also why the current consoles are already being outpaced by mobile.
Also fast and often. Come on. All right. Sorry. Spencer was naturally pressed to clarify what exactly he meant later in the day, to which he responded, "It used to be when you bought your console, you were way ahead of the price performance curve by so much relative to a PC. But now PCs are inexpensive and your phones are getting more and more capable." He went on to say things like, "I'm not going to announce our roadmap for hardware, and I want to make sure that people see that what we are doing enables us to be more committed to what consoles are about than we've ever been."
Part of this honestly sounds like Phil is doing some advanced damage control, especially after all the accusations that have been flying around that Microsoft cares less about its console business.
These ruffled feathers from gamers mostly come from Microsoft offering free PC games, which is very strange.
I'll never understand it.
Yeah, a minority of Xbox fans got pretty pissed off when it was announced that Quantum Break would be free on PC for anyone who purchased the game on Xbox.
I'm a little bit more upset that Quantum Break requires an internet connection for cutscenes, but
what the fuck?
Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
So you can only imagine the response some gamers might have when Spencer starts talking about turning the next Xbox, or maybe even the current one, into more of an upgradable PC rather than what we typically see from each console generation.
So this kind of crazy talk is pretty crazy, right? Could Microsoft actually be considering doing away with the console model we've seen for decades, and one that has already made Microsoft itself a ton of money?
Just sell those expandable hard drives that we had last generation. We loved those. It is a little surprising though, given just how many consoles are being moved around the world. The success of both the Xbox One and PS4, yes, the Xbox is doing just fine. It's not doing PlayStation numbers, but really, who is? Except for
PlayStation, yeah.
It shows that even though the barrier to entry for building a custom PC is getting lower, there is still something to the appeal of having a plug-and-play system at the ready.
Sony is projected to crack the 100 million mark this generation, something that only 5 other systems have ever done. If the model was outdated by now, we probably wouldn't be seeing these kinds of ridiculous numbers.
That kind of makes you wonder if the majority of gamers would even want something they have to upgrade. That's part of the beauty of the console, is that you just don't worry about it. You put your disc in or you download it and then wait for a couple of hours for it to install and do its patches and your day one things. You go to the store, you buy your DLC, and then you enjoy your game. It's simple.
5 days later.
While Spencer has a point that the main benefit of having a console in the past was having a decently powerful machine at a lower locked price, the other benefit, not having to fuss with PC parts and upgrades. Not everyone wants the experience. Drivers, people. Not everyone wants to worry about the drivers.
Didn't Phantom try something like this already? That piece of vaporware never saw the light of day when Infinium Labs set it to launch more than 10 years ago.
Too bad though, that keyboard mouse thing they had, seemed pretty sweet.
Yeah, now to be fair, of course, it did look pretty sweet, but the tech world was a totally different place back then. But that thing still failed miserably as an attempt to bridge the distance between PCs and consoles.
That's not even mentioning that you might run into more problems with certain SKUs or hardware configurations that are unable to play brand new games. How do you communicate that to customers who want to play the newest Halo or Gears of War? They don't want to think about it.
Maybe you could have a new version of Clippy. Your Xbox sucks! Get a new GPU, noob!
Oh, Clippy. Well, of course, the model that Microsoft is emulating here, without directly naming names, is Apple. Microsoft's longtime rival in the PC business has set the new gold standard of innovating on existing hardware, or maybe iterating on existing hardware. Well, developing cults anyway. People are buying into it.
They love it. This is a large part of why Microsoft has had such a boner over its Universal Windows application lately. Going onto one ubiquitous platform will let them have a level playing field across Windows 10 apps, HoloLens, Xbox Mobile, PC games, and hell, probably even the long dead Zune at some point, which would be great because I still have mine.
Now, it sounds like Microsoft wants to get away from closed ecosystems and just create a bigger closed ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is part of the reason they're leaning so heavily on blurring the space between their PC and Xbox environments. Spencer's comments about backward compatibility in particular make it sound like that whole process for the Xbox One is a huge pain in the ass and something they don't want to repeat every single generation.
And that's a good thing. I mean, there's certainly an appeal to knowing that every new iOS device you get or PC part you replace doesn't mean rebuying your entire library of old games, which seems to kind of be the case with each new console we replace.
But on the flip side, this could be seen as a way to get even more money out of gamers. If Microsoft wants each new iteration to be cutting edge, that basically means you could be paying something of a yearly premium just to keep your Xbox up to date, rather than paying a one-time price of $400 to $500 every 5 to 7 years.
It really just depends on whether or not Microsoft enables you to play new games at downgraded settings or not. I mean, this isn't as much of a problem on PC for now, but because the model already exists, but I mean, you could see how that would make some gamers without that experience pretty skeptical.
Well, not to mention it makes all the games harder to optimize, so then maybe you have to have better hardware because they all, I mean, we're all used to crappy PC ports at this point.
It's true.
In the end, this potentially new model for Microsoft's Xbox line has its own share of upsides and downsides. A more open level environment that unifies all of Microsoft's library is one that gives a lot more possibilities to developers and gamers, plus no more fussing with backward compatibility and the potential for massive upgrades without waiting between generations.
The downside would be some potentially confusing or off-putting processes for gamers who just want to plug in and forget the rest. Plus, there's always the concern that Microsoft puts more games behind layers of upgrades, forcing you to buy their stuff.
Right, we'll just have to wait and see if Microsoft gives us any more details about their future plans. Maybe E3?
Ooh,
that's where they do that kind of thing, fingers crossed.
Yes, and please don't hold your old event like you did for the Xbox One. That shit is annoying.
Don't follow EA's example.
Hate it.
Don't do it.
Go to E3. It's my Christmas, damn it.
We like E3.
Yes. So what do you guys think of the idea of Microsoft moving away from its current console model and getting into the PC master race? Let us know in the comments down below.
For more updates on Microsoft's Windows 10 fevers and helpful tips from Clippy, remember to like this video and subscribe to the Know.
I forgot to replace one boner with fever.
That's
so
okay.
There's just a random
boner in there. Well, I mean, it's basically just like saying they've got a hard-on for it, which we know they do.
They do, right. And sometimes hard-ons give you fevers, right? Is that how it works?
I hope not.
Like a vagina fever?
That seems like the kind of thing you go to a doctor for.
Like a hand fever?
Hand fever?
Hand fever. Let's ask Blaine. He would know.
Oh,